Marionettes are terrific fun, but crikey, they got a lot of strings, and it's very easy to tangle them, and it's very hard to control them. And the traditional ones were carved out of wood, which is hard to do, even if they've only got a couple of strings. Beautiful, but hard to make. Still, you don't have to despair. Marionettes are very simply made if you remember a few things. I'm going to make one here with a couple of do's and a couple of don'ts, and it's going to be simple, and it's going to be made out of scrap stuff. Well, the first thing is, let's decide what we're going to make. I'm going to make a duck, or a bird at least. And a bird, like most marionettes, has to have floppy legs. And the simplest is to get floppy cord. Now, some cord isn't, but this is good stuff. It's woven, and it's often used for piping. You get it in a haberdasher's or somebody who sells fabrics. Anyway, it doesn't matter if it's not that stuff. Don't go to ordinary string. You see how stiff that is? It won't make successful legs. It'll just stick out and your marionette won't work. If you can't get floppy cord like that, go to something like wool or cotton with beads, anything that flops. Well, I'm going to persist with this because it's good stuff. Well, a bird has, let's say a duck, fairly large flat feet. I've cut a ping pong ball in half, drilled a hole in that half, and that's going to be the foot. It only has to be very simple. You have to suggest things rather than necessarily carve them very intricately. A knot in the cord, pull it back through the ping pong ball, and there's the foot on the end of the floppy leg. And I suppose for a duck, I'd want legs about that length, and I'd cut the cord off there. For a body, no wood carving, we use a throwaway starine cup. A hole through there, poke the leg in, and tie it in a knot on the inside, and it's going to hang down very perfectly. One on the other side, of course, it's a two-legged duck. And by the same token, I can make a floppy neck up the front, with a ping pong ball up there for a head, put a beak on it, and I've got my duck marionette. I won't do all of that now because I've already done it. And that's the sort of result I'd get. The starine cup body, the legs hanging down, the neck coming up there where a neck should be. Actually, I've used a foam ball here, but that's okay, and a cardboard beak. And that's a marionette which will work surprisingly well. Of course, we've got to put the strings on. But there again, we don't need lots and lots of them. You only need 4. 1 at the head, 1 at the tail, and 1 on each knee. So what do you attach the strings to? Apart from the heads and the tails and the knees, you have a very simple wooden cross at the top. Almost any stick does. I've used this sort of stuff, and you cut 2 lengths about like that, lash them together in the form of a cross using rubber bands. That's the sort of result you get. You could glue it, but rubber bands are simpler, so why not stay simple? And remember to tie the head there, the tail there, and a knee to each of those. Well, I can't do the duck in time, but I have got an ostrich assembled to show you, and it's made on exactly the same principle, although it uses slightly different things. Here we go. I'll put it down here. In this case, I've used cotton and beads for the legs, but you notice they're floppy. Same old ping pong ball feet, same old cup body. I've used cotton wool for the tail feathers, cotton and bead for the neck, and a bead there. And by rocking this cradle attached to the knees, the tail, and the head, I can make it walk, as an ostrich does. I can make it sit, as an ostrich does. And I can make it even peck, much as an ostrich does. So that's a very simple marionette that you can use just with those things. Well, of course, you don't have to stay with birds, although I've showed you a duck and an ostrich. Remembering the floppy legs, the floppy strings, the best sort of string to tie them up with, by the way, is something like this. Not the thick string, something like thick cotton or crochet cotton. There's this stuff. It's very good. It doesn't tangle easily, and it doesn't get too stiff. Tying that up, you can make almost any sort of puppet. Here again, head, tail, and knees is my little dancing man. A tap dancer, I might say, as some note. You ready, mate? Let's go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.